the transgender, to show allegiance to him, you had to kiss his ass ring.
Really?
And it said both of those things.
Be gay in Hollywood, you never expected. They be having these big ass mansion parties, and the mansion party, the whole mansion is a party, and then it's a separate party in the little rooms. I ain't been famous that damn long. I'm excited in a month to be at the mansion party. You be looking at all the damn rooms, and you around and look in the wrong room.
I happen to think there's a gay mafia in hip hop.
Right.
Not rappers, you know, the editorial presidents of magazines, the PDs at radio stations.
The more you dig, the nastier it gets. Same shady lawyers, same crooked courts, same twisted patterns, same hush-hush silence. But here's where it flips. Way before any of this popped up on the blogs, Katt Williams was already dropping bombs. He chopped it up with Joe Rogan and spilled all the tea on the whole game. The wild rituals, the weird symbols, the dresses, the B-fat, the Hollywood puppet masters, and even the push for certain social agendas, all like some ancient rulebook. Katt said the big shots were playing us right in front of our faces. And now, check Joe. The dude who used to talk big suddenly went silent. Same characters, same moves, same tired script. And if Katt was on point about all that, then maybe this ain't just some random payback. Maybe it's straight up punishment. It all kicked off with a bomb so loud, folks still don't know how to handle it. On Club Shady, Katt didn't play it safe. He smashed the door open. When he said P, did he be wanting to party? He wasn't just cracking jokes, he was exposing something way darker, a deep pattern.
We are in power. So why wouldn't a guy come out and say, yo, I'm gay, and get that type of love? I mean, Lady Gaga, I don't know if she's gay, but she running with that gay shit for real. And she is winning. So, rap music, nah, it ain't no different. Everybody got somebody gay in their house, in their family. I'm not saying in their same house, but in their family, somebody got somebody gay. So I think it's 2011 going on 2012. I think if you're gay, rep your set.
A secret power ladder and a whole hidden agenda. But here's the part most people slept on. That clip, it wasn't just about Diddy. That was Katt firing shots. A loud warning to the rest of Hollywood that this so-called gay cabal wasn't done yet. Katt's always been that wild jester who hid too much truth in his jokes. But in 2024, he tossed the jokes and came out swinging for real. And one thing he can't stop calling out? Those twisted Hollywood rituals? Bet symbolism, dudes in dresses, straight black men being forced into submission and obedience. These weren't just some random fashion stunts to Katt. Nah. To him, it was straight-up initiation rites, mind games, and a way to stamp these artists like cattle. Katt was sick of seeing his homies turned into straight-up puppets. Now slide back to Fat Joe in 2011. He was chillin' on Vlad TV, looking mad comfortable, but then he dropped a bomb that was way too real for folks back then. He called out rappers straight up. At that time, people brushed it off, saying Joe was just stirring up mess for clout. But now, that same Joe is tangled up in a lawsuit that could wipe out his whole legacy, and guess what? Nobody laughing now. And all that heat? It came from the exact words Joe let slip. Back then, Joe was a king in the Bronx, untouchable, respected everywhere. But that one interview? It put a huge bullseye on his back. And best believe Katt was watching close. Later on, Katt doubled down and confirmed it. The industry got an invisible ceiling, a hidden gatekeeping system where you ain't climbing unless you play by their dirty rules. This so-called gay mafia wasn't just about who you like, it was about who you pledge your loyalty to.
It's owned. The hip-hop community is most likely owned by gay, to be honest with
you. But you think they'll be...
They're owned by gay. I happen to think there's a gay mafia in hip-hop.
Right.
Not rappers. You know, the editorial presidents of magazines.
Sure.
The PDs at radio stations, the people who give you award at award shows. This is a fucking gay mafia, my man.
It was about bending the knee, staying quiet, and letting them hold all the dirt on you. Then Fat Joe said what he said, and boom, that target was stuck on him forever. But here's where it gets extra twisted. For years, folks brushed off Katt's rants about Hollywood rituals as wild conspiracy talk. But when you start piecing together every word he dropped, it all connects to the same dark game. BFA met symbolism, that wild mix of duality, turning tough masculinity into flashy femininity like a public transformation to show who's really in charge. And guess who else got caught up in that game? Fat Joe. The same dude who once shouted about a gay mafia in hip-hop ended up being hugged by that same world, but not on some chill vibes. Let's slide back to Katt for a second. Check this. During that Club Shay Shay interview, someone peeped that Katt had a ship's helm pendant hanging on his neck. That wasn't just some shiny flex piece. The ship's wheel is old-school symbolism, talking about guidance, direction, and picking your own lane even when everything around you going crazy. In Buddhism, that wheel stands for right action, right talk, and right purpose. So when Katt pulled up rocking that pendant, he was making a statement loud and clear. It wasn't about style, it was spiritual warfare for real. While everybody else out here drifting lost in the waves, Katt's grabbing that wheel, telling the world, I ain't letting them steer me, I'm driving my own ship. And when you put that next to his message about industry mind games and control, it hits different. This wasn't random at all. It was a whole coded warning. Then on Joe Rogan, Katt even called it way before anyone else. He said the trans agenda wasn't just some side convo, it was about to get pushed into every single media space out there. Not about celebrating diversity, but all about creating straight-up chaos and confusion. A wild gender blur that helps Hollywood twist up identity and push folks into self-submission. And that Baphomet symbolism? It ain't just some creepy goat statue. It stands for mixing male and female, basically wiping out the natural order.
So you got guys who I don't think are gay, but they painting their nails or they walking with Birkin bags, like it just seems like, yo, that's the way, unfortunately, it's sad. You have originators, right? And then you have a lot of running with the swag or running with the style.
Katt tied that straight to the so-called gay cabal that decides who gets crowned and who gets shut down forever. Now think on Fat Joe again. The same man who used to pop off about gay power and hip-hop suddenly went all quiet. Next thing you know, he's backing political causes and getting trapped in lawsuits that look just like all the old industry patterns. At that point, it stops feeling like bad luck. It starts looking like a serious payback move. Katt didn't call out Fat Joe by name, but the message was screaming loud. If you run your mouth about these rituals, the cabal gonna come for you. And now, Joe's feeling it for real. A multi-million-dollar RICO lawsuit just smacked him in federal court, and man, it's looking exactly like what Katt warned about. The court docs break it all down. They say Fat Joe used heavy emotional games to break folks down, kept a squeaky clean image on the surface, while wilding out behind the scenes, and even took advantage of underage girls. All while making sure everything stayed under tight watch. This wasn't just messy behavior, it was all about power and total control, straight-up fear tactics, and the wildest part? Katt low-key called all this out years back. Now here's where it stops sounding like a spooky story and starts looking like a straight-up script. A remix we've seen play out before. This lawsuit against Fat Joe? Man, it don't just feel familiar, it reads like they copied the Diddy RICO playbook word for word. Terrence Dixon, the dude behind this lawsuit, was rolling with Fat Joe for decades. He was everything. Hype man, personal assistant, business partner, and straight-up insider. But now?
New at noon, rapper Fat Joe is being accused of sex acts with minors in a $20 million lawsuit. The rapper's real name is Joseph Cartagena. The man described as his hype man, Terrence T.A. Dixon, claims Cartagena, quote, had coercive labor exploitation, financial fraud, sexual manipulation, violent intimidation, and psychological coercion, end quote. Well, in a statement, Fat Joe's lawyer said this is an attempt to deflect attention from the civil suit Fat Joe filed first against Dixon.
Dixon came out swinging with a heavy federal civil RICO lawsuit. And it wasn't just about unpaid checks. Nah, he was screaming about betrayal, blackmail, and sexual exploitation going down right under Fat Joe's nose, and allegedly, sometimes with him in the mix. But yo, peep this, wait, the real sauce isn't only in the accusations, it's in how it's all set up. Just like with Diddy's mess, Dixon's lawsuit is built on the RICO Act. That's the same law they used to take down mafia bosses. RICO ain't for small beefs. It's meant to crush whole crime empires. So why's the government letting folks frame these celeb cliques like full-on criminal gangs? Because they're starting to look exactly like that. Dixon is saying Fat Joe used a maze of fake companies, artists, and loyal employees to run shady moves. We talking theft, intimidation, emotional beatdowns, and straight-up lying to the public. Sound familiar? It should. 'Cause Cassie, Rodney, Lil Rod Jones, Dawn Montgomery, and the rest all said almost the same exact things about Diddy. This ain't random drama. It's a whole system, and Katt saw it coming from way back. Let's break it all down line by line. First up, financial grooming. Lil Rod said Diddy was hitting him with gifts, dropping stacks of cash, and picking where he stayed, all to keep him locked in and loyal. Now look at Dixon's story. Fat Joe promised him co-ownership in businesses, then snaked him out, lied on contracts, used secret signers to move money around, straight shady. Then there's coercion and surveillance. Diddy allegedly had Lil Rod followed by security squads, watched him like a hawk, and put cameras everywhere. Meanwhile, Dixon says Fat Joe rolled up with bodyguards to scare him and even set up a so-called friendly home visit that felt more like a straight-up shakedown. When it comes to power abuse, Cassie said Diddy used his fame to trap and play younger women. Dixon says Fat Joe kept underage girls around, played mind games with artists, and acted like some fake hero while robbing them blind. This ain't just about shady business deals in the back room. It's about full-on media-backed gaslighting. The industry jumped in to keep all that filth hidden. That's the cabal's real move. They don't gotta silence everybody. They just need to own the cameras. Now peep who's been chilling around Fat Joe lately. Kamala Harris, after Joe backed her campaign heavy, talked big on social justice, and popped up at top-dollar fundraisers. Then there's Rock Nation. He's been a regular at Jay-Z's events, Clive Davis parties. He's been showing face there too. And don't forget those revolt circles. Joe been cozy in all those high places. It's all connected, and it shows exactly how deep this game runs. Plus, he's been spotted kicking it with Puff's old crew. Same stylists, same handlers, same PR folks. You really think he's chilling in those same VIP rooms with the same big execs, catching the same type of lawsuits, but it's all just random? Nah. Here's the real kicker. When Fat Joe's lawsuit first hit the streets, there was zero mainstream media chaos. No emergency press runs, no panicked publicists rushing to clean it up. Why? 'Cause this story was never meant to blow up. Unlike Diddy, Joe still got that safety net. The cabal ain't done using him yet. Maybe it's because he plays by their rules. Maybe it's because he knows when to keep his mouth shut. Or maybe he's being set up as a new puppet example. But behind the curtains, let's talk about Dixon. Dixon ain't just some salty dude holding a grudge. He was in deep for over 20 years. He knew Joe's passwords, travel plans, all the money moves, everything. He ran Terror Squad. Locked in those bookings, cleaned up artist beefs, he was the backbone. And now, dude's wiped off the face of the net. Social's gone, videos buried, media won't even say his name out loud. It's like he got hit with an instant vanish spell, straight out of Diddy's old playbook. And that's the scariest part. When someone steps up and calls out the machine don't even gotta win in court. They just erase you till the story fades away in silence. But here's the crazy twist. Dixon's case is finally catching some heat now, and it's all 'cause of the timing. Why? Because Diddy wasn't useful to the system anymore. Straight like that. Let's break down the strategy. 'Cause once you peep the pattern, you can't unsee it no matter how hard you try. Look at Diddy. First move, he settled stuff quietly behind closed doors, dropping bags to keep folks silent. Then he dipped away from his label, right before it all came crashing down. A couple lawsuits slipped through to make it look like he was finally facing heat. But peep how the industry flipped it. They turned Diddy into the lone bad apple. So everything else stayed smooth and untouched. They just swapped his face out, but that shady structure never changed at all. Now zoom in on Fat Joe. His story moving almost the exact same way, just moving on slow-mo. Allegations popped up, but he kept stepping out in public like nothing happened. His crew didn't flat-out deny stuff, but they started tweaking his appearances and moving him off the radar, piece by piece. All of a sudden, Joe starts fading from those big political stages and brand collabs with zero explanation. Even though there's talk of more folks being involved, no other lawsuits came out. Just Dixon's case, and they painting him like he's just some desperate dude trying to grab a bag. Meanwhile, Joe's name is getting quietly yanked from future projects. You can literally see the cleanup job happening in real time. Same playbook as Diddy, only this time they got the volume turned way down low. Why? Probably because Joe still knows how to keep that mouth shut and hasn't slipped up publicly. It's all happening right under our noses, and they counting on us not paying attention. The deeper you dig into all this, the more you see. This whole story ain't really just about Joe. It's about who gave us the eyes to even notice it in the first place. And what makes Katt so different from every other whistleblower? He got nothing left to lose. He's independent, he's too viral to fully cancel, and he's way too sharp for them to clown or discredit. That's exactly what makes Katt so dang dangerous to the whole system. Now here's where it gets real twisted. Is Fat Joe really getting taken down, or is he just getting a quiet cleanup? 'Cause nowadays, the industry don't really throw folks out the window, they repackage them. They erased Chrisette Michele just for singing at Trump's inauguration. Meanwhile, they kept shielding artists who've been accused of wild stuff for decades. They turned Kanye into the ultimate villain, but then let Travis Scott rock the Super Bowl stage like nothing ever happened. They don't just cancel, they decide who stays, who goes, and who gets a second chance, all based on how useful you are to them. And that's what makes Joe's lawsuit extra spooky. Nobody knows which route they got lined up for him. Is the cabal testing if he'll stay loyal? Or did they already hit that switch to toss him out? No matter what happens next is gonna tell us everything about how deep this machine really runs and how long it's been rotten underneath. Now let's bring it back around. Not to Joe, but to Terrence Dixon. Right now, Dixon is straight up invisible. That ain't normal at all. A dude like him should be everywhere. Interviews, viral clips, talk shows, but instead, silence. Like he vanished into thin air. There's a wild theory floating around that Dixon might have cut a secret deal behind closed doors. Or even worse, maybe he got straight up threatened into shutting up. 'Cause the last person who tried to take down one of the cabal's top dogs, their story vanished. And they did too. And if that's real, if Dixon's silence was forced, if Fat Joe's lawsuit just quietly disappears, and if Katt's warnings get buried in the memory hole, then boom, the system wins again. And we'll never get the whole truth until it jumps on the next rapper who talks too loud and refuses to play along. But yo, it ain't over yet. 'Cause another big name just got thrown into this mess. And unlike Joe, they're standing 10 toes down and fighting back live on camera. And the stuff they're spilling, it might blow the whole industry wide open and show just how deep these roots really run. You ain't ready for what they just dropped, or who it's about to expose. This next chapter gonna be wild.